There you go. Macy's. Yeah. They're big, fat, freaking communist stuff. Because, hey, communism's sexy, huh? Moral degeneracy is sexy, right? Maybe that's why you're going into bankruptcy, Macy's. Then Yeshua spoke to the crowds, 23. And to his taught ones, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit on the seat of Moshe. Therefore, whatever they say, no. Therefore, whatever Moses says to you to guard and do. But do not do according to their works, for they say and they do not do. If you've ever been in a synagogue, a Jewish synagogue, they have what is called a seat of Moses. It's a seat of Moses. And basically, whoever's sitting in that seat has the authority to declare whatever. And this is where a lot of the rabbinicism gets convoluted. It's because, you got guys who basically give you rules for how you put on your shoes in the morning, how you're supposed to wear your tefillah or your phylacteries, whatever you want to call it. How you're supposed to put on your tzitzit, and how you're supposed to put on your clothes, whether you put it on left foot first or right foot first, or how you get out of bed, or how you're supposed to wash your hands before every meal, how you're supposed to give thanks, exactly what to say, when to say it, how to say it, where to say it. And it becomes one great, big, giant, freaking tyranny. Because they themselves don't actually do these things except in public to show just how self-righteous they are and how much you need to be more like them. And so you get the same thing in the church when they say, I sit in the seat of Moses. And I hear them say this. I've heard this. I've been in so many different denominations where they all say that very thing. Yep. Usurping. They bind heavy burdens hard to bear. Okay, so what he's saying here, therefore whatever it's not they say, it's whatever Moses says to you, that you do. But do not do according to the works of the Pharisees, for they say and they do not do. They bind heavy burdens hard to bear and lay them on men's shoulders, but with their finger they do not wish to move them. They do all their work to be seen by men, and they make their tefillah wide, and they lengthen their tzitzit of their garments. It's got to be grandiose. It's got to be big. It's got to be showy. It's got to be in your face. And hey, look at my righteousness. Look how righteous I am. Look how righteous you need to be, because you need to be like me. They love the best place at the feasts and the best seats in the congregations. Yeah, they have to be right out there in the high places, just like you name it. The greetings in the marketplaces and to be called by men, Rabbi, Rabbi, which means my great one. Don't let a Pharisee tell you that rabbi just means teacher. It doesn't mean teacher. It means my great one. If you look at the word, if you say thank you or a many thanks, muchness thanks, much thanks, it's Toda Rabbah. When you add an E to the end of it, it means it's possessive. It means mine. Rabbi means my great one. Hey, you're my great one. You're my great one. When he's saying to you, but you don't be called rabbi, for one is your teacher, the Messiah, and you are all brothers. So whenever you see in messianic synagogues where you got a guy posing as rabbi, you know that he's a fraud. Because if we are really followers of Yeshua, we won't be calling ourselves rabbi. And we won't be calling ourselves Papa either. And he's going to say that here. Just watch. For one is your teacher, the Messiah, and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone on earth your father. For one is your Father, he who is in the heavens. See, people claiming religious authority. The papacy, it's all the papacy. see, tater, yeah. You got all kinds of people. I mean, I talk to people now, people who are in SDA or in this little weird sect or that little weird sect, and talking about, you know, their human idols. They say, oh, this is my spiritual father. Nobody's your spiritual father except the Father in heaven. Okay? I got a neighbor who says this very thing. Oh yeah, he's my spiritual father. Or he says about himself, yeah, I'm his spiritual father. That's a bunch of bullshit. Okay? I'm sorry, there isn't any other word for it. It's spiritual bullshit. And I'm not taking it back. I'm not apologizing for the word. The word is what it is, and that's what exactly you're stepping in. Neither be called leaders, for one is your leader, the Messiah. But the greatest among you shall be your servant. And whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself shall be exalted. See, we got it all backwards. We're all into our little titles, and our little claims to fame and notoriety. And, you know, it's really just infamy in the court of heaven. You give yourself a title, you work so hard to get your PhD in, you know, religious zealotry, which is really just a PhD in economics. I mean, it's really what it comes down to. You're just building your own little kingdoms. You know how much money I'm going to make with a church? Yeah, I do, and I don't want any part of it. I've seen it time and time again. You got these little congregations. You see the people in that congregation and where they live and how they live and how they don't have much. And then you see the pastor's house, which is either right there on the complex or not too far from the complex, and you see the mansions that they build on themselves. They're little monuments. Oh, don't you think the man of God should have, you know, some luxury? No, I think the man of God should actually go out and get a job. That's what I think. Stop playing super self-righteous man. Stop, oh, well, you know, the man of God needs to have time to be able to study and research for his sermon every week. Bolshevik. Okay? And you know what I'm really saying. I don't need a whole lot of time to research my sermons. I don't need a lot of time at all. All I have to do is pick up the Bible and stop isolating things, read things within their context, go on and expound on that. I don't need a whole lot of rehearsal. I don't need a whole week to sit down with my Strongs. I mean, I do. And I still have a day job. I don't think we need these buildings. I think we'd be a lot better off if we were off in some public park or the woods, for crying out loud. You know, that way you can get rid of a lot of the espionage and the what have you. And we won't be worried about sheep stealing. We won't have to worry about overhead and clergy and what do they call those people? Board members. You don't need any of that. You don't need any of that. You are all brothers, and one is your leader. So, you know, I mean, when I come into a room with somebody and they say, oh, this is Pastor such and such, I go, oh, hi, brother, something, you know, whatever your name is. You know, they go, why don't you ever call him pastor? Because he does not deserve that title, first off. Well, he's bringing us spiritual bread. Bullshit. No, he's not. He's robbing you. He's robbing you. The greatest among you shall be your servant. See that? See that? The least among you shall be the greatest. Everything's upside down in heaven because everything is evaluated properly. Not like here. Not like here. Whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself shall be exalted. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because you eat up widows' houses, and for a show make long prayers. That's exactly what they do. Even now, even today. Because of you, because of this, you shall receive greater judgment. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! because you go out of the land and see to win one convert, and when he is won, you make him twice the son of hell that you yourself are. Woe to you, blind guides, who say, whoever swears by the dwelling place, it does not matter, but whoever swears by the gold of the dwelling place, it is bound by oath. Fools and blind! For which is greater, the gold or the dwelling place that sets the gold apart? And whoever swears by the slaughter place, it does not matter, but whoever swears by the gift that is on it is bound by oath. See, they got it backwards! Fools and blind, for which is greater, the gift or the slaughter place that sets the gift apart? He then who swears by the slaughter place swears by it and swears by all that is upon it. He who swears by the dwelling place swears by it and by him who is dwelling in it. He who swears by the heavens swears by the throne of Elohim and by him who is sitting upon it. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because you tithe the mint and the anise and the cumin and have neglected the weightier matters of the Torah, the right ruling, the compassion, the belief. These need to have been done without neglecting the others. Which is more important? What is he saying? It's all important, but you've forgotten your compassion. You've forgotten that you yourself are a sinner, and you judge. Blind guides, straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because you clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are filled with plunder and unrighteousness. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and the dish, so that the outside then becomes clean also. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly indeed look ornate and beautiful, but inside are filled with dead men's bones and all uncleanness. So you too outwardly indeed appear righteous to men, but inside are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness, insert being without Torah. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because you build the tombs of the prophets and decorate the monuments of the righteous and say, if we had in the days of our fathers, we would not have taken part with them in the blood of the prophets. Thus you bear witness against yourself that you are the sons of those who did murder the prophets, and you fill up the measure of your fathers. Serpents, brood of adders! How would you escape the judgment of hell? Because of this, see, I send you prophets and wise men and scholars of the Scripture. Some of them you shall kill and impale, and some of them you shall flog in your congregations and persecute from city to city, so that on you should come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the dwelling place and the slaughter place. He's not talking about the prophet Zechariah. He's talking about the father of Johanan the Mercer. He's talking about him because he sent his son to go live in the wilderness because they knew that they were going to serve you, because of the Herodian edict that said you have to kill and slaughter all those 2 and under. Just like in the days of Moses. 2 and under, you had to be slaughtered. And so he sent his son out to the wilderness with his wife. And he came into the holy place, and they said to him, the Pharisees, they said to him, hey, where's your son? He said, what son? So don't play games, where's your son? He said, you can't get to my son. You cannot get. He defended his family and gave up his life for it. They murdered him right there in the holy court. Truly I say to you, all this shall come upon this generation. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, killing the prophets and stoning those who are sent to her. How often have I wished to gather your children together in the way a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, but you would not. But you would not. See, your house is left to you laid waste. For I say to you, from now on, you shall by no means see me, until you say, Blessed is he coming in the name of Yahuwah. Leave off.